Episode 2 of DNMs with Duzzi, and we are here with
Mariah Denman from Blackwater.
And we're on? Nice. Okay.
All that waiting.
The pressure was on there. Yeah. Okay, so we just launched straight into the quickfire stuff.
Yes.
To get the nerves out. Okay.
That'll be good.
Favourite rugby league moment as a fan?
Probably just watching the 8 series wins for Queensland for the men's.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, like that's probably where I really I suppose got into love with footy, because my parents didn't really follow an actual team. I had a lot of friends that followed teams. Yeah, because they were like rodeo people, so they were more into horses and cattle and stuff like that, and it was a bit odd to go into rugby league. But yeah, probably just that. We always watched State of Origin, so that was probably where the first love came from, and then just friends picked it up after that. So. And
favourite moment as a player? Moment as a player.
Probably would have to be last year scoring my first NRL try.
That was pretty good.
Up until that point was probably the 2 premierships. But yeah, it was so good just because everyone all week was like, just come through the middle, it'll open up.
And you almost scored a couple minutes before that. Yeah, that was good.
And I was like, oh, this is my moment. And then Vinny finally gave it to me rather than just showing and going. So.
That's a good one. Your most underrated NRLW player, and it could be our team in the comp, whatever you want.
Yeah, so I actually think that our mate Lavinia Gould is probably a really
she's a great one. Yes,
underrated player.
Yep.
And just because of the hard work that she's done, even from the start, she's been here from the start to now.
Yep.
And just continues to work hard and
3-time premiership winner.
Yeah, that's right.
Not bad, is it?
People just don't even really know that, and then you realise.
Yep.
How much effort she has to put in the off season just to stay fit and healthy.
And I don't want to throw under the bus, but her age.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
She seems to just not age, but the number goes up, but physically it doesn't go up.
When people are like, oh, I didn't realise how old she is, and you're like, oh yeah, but she doesn't look like that when she's running around.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, that's a really good one. Okay, shameful obsession.
Don't really have one. Just it's probably just more so I always say to myself after I go for a run or do exercise that I deserve ice cream.
I think you do though, which we're going to get into some of your training. Well, I think you do deserve that ice cream.
If I could just if I need to put on a couple of kegs, I'll just start eating ice cream all the time after training.
Oh, that's good. Your childhood hero?
I don't really have a childhood hero, but it's probably just sort of to be honest, my mum and dad, just from what they instilled in us from kids. I always just wanted to be like them. I wanted to be be able to work hard, be good at my job, and no matter what I did, when I was growing up, all I ever wanted to be was a fucking diesel fitter of all things. And then they were like, yep, you set your mind to it, you can do it. I'm like, yep, Mum, I can do that.
So did you actually have that career goal early?
Yeah, so in grade 10.
Really?
So in grade 10 they were I really wanted to be a diesel fitter, or pretty much when I went to high school, and I was a little shit when I went into primary school, and then I got to high school and I was like, I want to be a diesel fitter. I want to be a diesel fitter by trade. And then just started knuckling down at work and that. And I had an interview in grade 10 to join one of the mines, as an apprentice diesel fitter.
Yeah.
And then I got an interview, they offered me a job, and then my mum's like, no, you should finish year 12. And then I was like, right, I'll finish year 12. So then, I ended up finishing year 12 and then still come out of school to be an apprentice diesel fitter as well.
So it all worked out in the end.
Yeah, eventually. But
That's funny though. Yeah. Because that's a pretty specific goal to have.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But I suppose I didn't really have any other I enjoyed playing sport, but I was never going to make it in touch because I am not a figure of touch.
You and me both.
This body is not a figure of that.
Yeah.
And I love cross country as well, but I'm not a marathon runner or anything like that.
Yeah. I mean, you're pretty close, so.
Very far from it. I don't run a 3-minute split for a K.
I feel like I'm going to know the genre, but you can pick 3 albums or 3 artists for the rest of your life.
Yeah, so you're obviously going to know it's country.
Yeah.
Yeah. And probably Probably like Brooks and Dunn, Alan Jackson, and lately Cody Johnson. I reckon I can listen to him for the rest of my life. Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah, bit of Cujo. Bit of Cujo in between my Alan Jackson and my Brooks and Dunn just to,
Lordy.
to break up the
I'd
day.
be pressing skip a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Respectfully. Okay, let's get into your stuff. So we'll go back to 2018. NRLW started.
Yeah.
And I know for me, like, I remember this moment, like, very clearly. What was it like for you getting the call to join the Broncos? And did you have any other interest from other clubs, or was it always Broncos? Once they called you, it was done?
Yeah, so it was a bit weird because, like, obviously we had all that stuff at the start of the year where they did, like, the top 40 stuff at the start.
Yep.
And, like, that was obviously the moment where we found out that they were going to offer NRL contracts at the end of the year, and it was like sort of all in the works and whatnot. And I sort of just went away to nationals and was like, oh, okay, you know, if I play well here, maybe someone will pick me up. Like, in no way that I thought I'd ever get someone call me. And then, like, I was at home for a week after nationals, and then Paul Dyer of all people rings me and he's like, hey Mariah, we're really interested and want you to come down here. And I had no interest from any other club other than Brisbane. And I was like, this is pretty cool, like flabbergasted. And then I was like, how am I gonna ask work if I can leave for this time? Because I was still...
Well, that's the other part about it, especially back in those days. Yeah,
and like we didn't get paid a great deal to play either. Like, it was still enough to, you know, want to do it, and it was just really for the love of the game, like just to start.
To feel, really.
Yeah, really, yeah. But it was like, you don't, like, I could play out in Blackwater and pay $200 to play, or I could get paid to play. Like, it was pretty cool. And like, just sitting in my kitchen, I was like to my husband, I was like, I can't believe that Brisbane just rang me and they want to contract me. And then I rang my mum and my dad, I rang my grandma and my granddad.
So you were pretty much saying yes straight away.
Literally, yeah. There was no way that I was going to be like, no, I can't come down and play. Like, I was just going to make it happen. Yeah. Like, no matter what. Like, and I'm so glad that I did, because, like, looking back now, I would never have got the same opportunity again. Like, to even be a part of, the first 2 premierships was unreal.
Well, that's probably something I feel like speaking of underrated, people probably forget about you, is that you were there in 2018, 2019, when we won the comps, and then you had to have a couple years off.
Yes.
So tell us a bit about that. So you had a baby during that time, and I think that, like, something I've always wanted to know, like, because I don't have kids and probably won't ever have kids, but like, as a parent and as like someone who had to put their personal goals on the back burner, to do that, like, I'm sure there's still an athlete inside of the mother that's going, I need to get back to training, I want to get back to footy. So what was that like, balancing like?
So it's sort of funny because, like, COVID happened and I thought to myself, like, my husband and I were talking, and there was talks about NRL being postponed and stopped for that year. And then I was like, all right, maybe this is a good time for us to have a baby. Like, started trying, 4 weeks later I was pregnant. So it wasn't even just like I got an opportunity to even like second guess the choice, because it was just like, bam,
straight into it.
Pregnant.
Lovely.
And and like, in my mind, like, I actually got a phone call from Kelvin, and he was going to contract me for 2020.
Yeah, I remember that, actually. You were going to get a contract, And
then he's like, I said to him, look, I'll ring you back next week. And I was like, I'll go over and get a scan, because I knew that I was maybe about 6 weeks. Yeah. And then I was like, I'll ring you back next week if that's all right, and confirm. Anyways, went over and got a scan. I was 10 weeks. And I was like, And then I was like, well, I rang Calvin. I said, look, I won't be able to take a contract. And he's like, are you going somewhere else? And I was like, no, I'm pregnant. And he's like, okay, no worries at all. We'll keep in chat. And then it was good too, because they let me still be a part of like some of the reviews and stuff like that in the early days of 2020, which was pretty cool. Just to still, you know, talk to the girls and whatnot and be a part of that group. But then from that point onwards, it was really hard to, like, come back, because I just had to, like, keep grinding at it. And I knew that, like, once I had Henley, I wanted to make an appearance, whether it was for 1 year after you know, having her, or whether it was for multiple years. So, like, I just kept...
Did it give you more motivation, do you think?
Oh, 100%. Like, I come back 8 weeks to a local league game to play, and then I came back 9 weeks after having Henley, and I had a C-section. So,
yeah,
like,
that's hectic.
And like, in my mind, when people are like to me, you can't do that, and then I'm like, you watch me do that. I'm like, I will show you that I can do this, like, and come back. I did come back a few kegs heavier. I probably should have been playing front row, because I was probably sitting at, like, I don't know, 80 kilos. Like, I was a big girl.
God, you don't want to know what I weigh then.
Yeah. Oh, what, 75?
Yes, let's... Sure. So, like, as a, like, you've had the baby and you're going through that period of, like, not playing, not training, and I know you, like, you are a really intense trainer. You train very professionally and very
stand on your toes.
You do step on my toes a lot. No, but you're like really like disciplined with doing hard things, and like especially in a regional area, like that's tough. Like you don't have as much support out there. Like what kind of things, I kind of want to know. Well, I kind of do know, but what kind of things did you do to physically get back? Like, tell me about the weight vest.
Yeah.
Because I reckon that's insane.
So, like, in my mind, I was like, oh, I couldn't completely lift weights straight away. And in my mind, I was like, how can I carry heavier weights? And not only was I running with the weight vest, but I was also pushing the pram, because, like, in the first 4 months, obviously, I had some time off away from work, and like, so every day or every second day I would go for a run with the pram, with the weight vest, and I'd run anywhere between 5 to 6k, and
it would be at a fast pace,
well,
right?
no, it was like probably about a 5:30.
Yeah, so you diminish yourself, because that's not slow.
No,
especially for where you were at.
Yeah, that's right. Especially when I was still carrying, like, I probably would have been carrying about 100 kilos, really, if, like, you count my body weight.
Yeah, and the vest.
Yeah, so, like, I don't know, like, I enjoy running, and running was such a good thing that I could go out in the afternoons. If Henley needed a nap, I'd, you know, go for a run at 3 o'clock, and she'd sleep for the 20 minutes. I would go around, and then she'd potentially even stay asleep for the afternoon. So it was good for me, it was good for her, and even now, like, I can go for a run and she doesn't complain when I run in the pram, or she doesn't whinge, like, yeah.
Oh, so you still do it?
Yeah, I still run with the pram. Yeah. Because, well, it's hard, because if Jay's at work and I'm off, it's not like I can just leave her at home or whatnot. So
that's it. Do you still wear the weight vest?
Yeah, I still do wear the weight vest, yeah. And my sister, like my twin sister as well, like we go for a lot of runs like a lot of the time, because she's got a little girl that's around the same age as my little girl, and like, yeah, we'll just go for a casual stroll. But it's funny, because we get, like, some of our friends to come for a run with us, and we've got the prams, and we'll be, like, running along, chatting, like, running at a 5:30, and, like, our friends are like, yep, no worries, like, can you just, like, stop talking, because I'm trying to concentrate on running?
Yeah, well, like, you are bred differently. Like,
but no,
singing during conditioning, that
type of... Yeah, but it keeps people motivated to, I suppose. Or, like, I always got told, like, if you want to learn to talk while you're running and you're under fatigue, like, sing.
Yeah,
because then it gets you, like, used to actually...
Well, a lot of, like, performers do it. That's like, they run on a treadmill and, like...
Well, you look at someone like Pink. Like, imagine how fit she would have to be to be able to...
insane. The breathing control, you know? It's crazy, eh? Well, on that, like, your attitude towards training is always very good. Like, where do you think that came from? Do you think you've always been like that? Have you always, like, doing hard sessions, like...
Yeah... I think it's more from, so, like, my mum, if anyone knows my mum, she's very competitive. And I mean, not at everything. So, like, we'd play bloody volleyball at Christmas, and she'd be like, I'm going to beat you. And then, so then that sort of, like, stemmed down to my sister and I. So it was always, like, a competition between Hader and I, like, who could be a better runner, who could be a better swimmer. Like, we did all the same sports together, and it was like, who can make this, who can make that. And that's probably where the competitiveness started from. Like, I can remember doing cross country in, like, as a kid, and my sister, you know, when those when the bell anklets used to be in at school, like the so my sister used to wear these bell anklets, right? And we were running this cross country one time, and, like, I turned around to her and I was like, if you don't turn, I was like, if you don't take that anklet off, I'm gonna have to run away from you. Anyway, she didn't take it off, so I just
So it was jingling the whole race as well.
Yeah, but I just bolted in front of her so I couldn't hear it anymore. Like,
that's good motivation.
Like, yeah, but like it was probably just for more from that, and like what my parents always said, like even if whether you're at a job or whether you're doing something, if you want to be good at your job, you got to work hard. So you know, it's the same thing, I guess, with any sport that you play.
Those values definitely have like shone through with you, because like you're such a great trainer. You work so hard in your footy stuff. So we
were like mad at high school. Like my sister and I, like if we were doing HPE, say with like if volleyball was the sport, we'd like make our mum go, or ask our mum if she'd go buy us a volleyball, and then for the whole term, like we'd be in the backyard every afternoon practicing volleyball, and then like the next term would come around and be like doing tennis, and then we started playing tennis on a Monday night just to get really good at that. Like I don't know.
So PE was the Olympics.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
It's healthy. So obviously had the baby, you had to have a couple of years off, and then 2023 you get the call to come back to the Bronx. So talk me through that.
So I was actually at my brother's house over in Emerald, so I'd taken Henley over for the day, and we'd gone shopping, and then I went back to my brother's house just to say g'day and whatever, and Henley was looking at the horses and that, and then I was like, I looked at my watch and it said Paul Dyer on my watch, and I was like,
so you'd say his number?
I was like, he must have the wrong number here. Anyways, he rings me. He's like, Storchy, what have you been up to? And I was like, oh, nothing much, just working and playing a bit of footy for Capras. And he's like, righto. Well, I really want to have you in the team. We're not sure where you're going to sit yet. I've got to talk to Princey, and I'll get back to you. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, no worries. Talk to you later. Hung up, and then it was like a couple of weeks later they rang me and they said, you know, we want to contract you again for the year. And I was like, oh, that's, you know, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't even fathom. It was lucky that he contacted me early, because our Capras team didn't do too great at the end of the season, so he might have rethought it. But it was just an unbelievable feeling just to know that like I was wanted by a club again after working so hard. Like, and it was a little bit the same thing. Like I still had to figure out like the logistics of moving back down. It was a lot easier this time though, with like the way that you're being paid, plus where I was working in previous years, I was working as a diesel fitter, whereas now I'm working in head office, doing a bit of planning and stuff like that. So
sounds like the timing was kind of right.
Oh, it was.
At that time,
yeah, 100%. It was really cool, and I did get that was weird too, because I got contacted by another club as well last year as well, and like I was like, there's no way I'm going to go to any other club other than Brisbane. And it was funny too, because at the start of the year I was doing Maldives with like I just went down and like trialled in Sydney for this Indigenous Maldives, and Vinny was down there, and she's like, oh, do you know the band's getting back together? And I was like, no. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, Paul, Princey, Fletch.
Yeah,
she's
the
like,
original stuff.
Yeah, the originals. She's like, they're all going to be there. And I was like, oh, that'd be so cool to get like, you know, back in there again. And then not that I thought that they'd ever ring me, and then they did. And I was like,
yeah. And you had a really good year, player of the year, obviously. So I'm sure that was a bit of a cherry on top to come back.
It was pretty cool. Yeah.
Whoa, there's some bush turkeys over there. Sorry, jeez, stay focused.
Blackwater area.
All right, we'll wrap it up, hey?
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Can you give me a rugby league ick?
Probably girls that wear their tan so orange that they look sick. Like I don't mind like
there's been a lot of attacks on this.
I know. I don't mind a little bit of brown colour, but like when you look like you got a bit of jaundice,
if
it's
it
like
looks jaundice, whoa.
It's not.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it's got to look a bit natural.
Oh yeah, that's right. It does. Like you have to sort of match it in a little bit.
Although, you know, it's the same thing. You got to, if you feel good, it sometimes helps you perform.
That's exactly right. I do understand the feel good, look good, you know, play good thing as well. But so orange. You know what I mean? Like,
all right. Well, thank you for coming on to DNMs with Duzzi episode 2.
Thank you.
We're done. Oh, that was good.